I think a quorum at this point. So we're going to get started in about a minute. I do want to let commissioners know that as of yesterday, our bylaws have still not been formally approved. So we're just operating the way we normally do. Okay, again, reminding the commissioners, unmute yourself, state your name when speaking. Also, I want to mention that for voting on any measure or action today, commissioners will be using the voting touchscreen. Commissioner Stern, you will just do the verbal through your teleconference. And we will get started. Ready to go? Okay, here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to call to order the April 15th, 2025 Senior Citizen Commission meeting at 2:00 p.m. Can we do roll call? So, Commissioner Stern is here. Commissioner Gabriel.
I'm here.
Yes. And Commissioner Martin is not here. Okay.
Let the record show that 5 commissioners are present with 2 commissioners absent, Commissioner Martin and Commissioner Gaber.
Okay.
You say it again.
There we go.
Sorry. Let the record show that 5 commissioners are present, except Commissioners Martin and Commissioner Gaber, who are absent.
Okay, that brings us to agenda item 3, the Pledge of Allegiance. I will lead. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So that brings us to agenda item 4, and I understand there's some changes.
Yes, for agenda item 4, the first speaker for 4A, Israel Hernandez with AARP California, had to cancel as he is out sick and will postpone the age-friendly city certificate and congratulatory presentation to next month's meeting. So we will move on to agenda item 4B, Christine Schindler, league cycling instructor, safe routes to school and everywhere, educator and advocate, is here to present about driver safety around bikes and older adult cycling classes.
So this is odd because you guys are here and that's there, but I'll go with it. I'll roll with it. So first I want to say, so Christine Schindler, I live in East Encinitas. First thing I want to say is that I was here at the city council meeting when the consent item for age-friendly community was pulled, which it's always odd when that happens. Thankfully, I was here. My colleague, bike walk person, Elena Thompson, I believe, was the one who pulled it. I'm so happy that Joy, Councilmember Joy Lyons, Deputy Mayor, convinced everyone to shift their thinking and to get behind it, because it would have been very disappointing had we not leaned in to make use of some funding and to move forward with age-friendly community. So I just wanted to have opportunity to say that. I wish I could have said it with Israel here as well. Very happy to be here today. Commissioner Jesse lives in my neighborhood, so Jesse, I'm sorry, you're going to hear this again, but it's always slightly different every time I talk. I generally don't say the things I want to say as quickly as I want to say them. So I'm going to say a few things up front just to make sure that I get my main points across. I am a league cycling instructor. I work with the city. I work with the San Diego County Bike Coalition to do bike education across the county. All ages learn to ride with young people, older people. But right now, most of everything that I'm doing, I don't know where to look. So that's why I keep looking around. I think I'll just, do this. Right now, most of the teaching that I do is teenagers and parents, and mostly on e-bikes. I love a class when we get half classic bikes, half e-bikes. It's a lot better class. And I love a class where we have as many parents as we have children. But the main reason why I wanted to be here today is I realize that a lot of us maybe aren't so happy about all these bikes out there, namely e-bikes that are throttling around town. So I want to convince you to maybe open your mind, to get some good information, and basically make a plea that we all have a part in making our streets safer. And it's really important for our streets to be safe. So car drivers have a part, bike riders have a part, pedestrians have a part. So together we can make a better community. And I'd also ask you, even if you don't ride a bike, you should be happy about people riding a bike. Because if you're driving your car and someone's on a bike, that's one less car. If you're looking for a parking spot and someone's on a bike, that's one less person you have to compete with for a parking spot. So there are a lot of people that I talk to that are like, I'm never going to ride a bike. I don't like bikes. I don't understand why we're doing all these special things to encourage more bike riding. And I would just say, open your mind and think about what that means for you. You don't have to compete with as many cars. Riding a bike is good for public health. So living in a community where there are people that are doing things that are good for their public health helps everybody. How many of you, when you were a little kid, you learned how to ride a bike? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Jamie?
I used to race BMX bikes.
All right. So this is a consistent, I love it. Everybody learned to ride a bike. So just think back to how fun it was when you were a kid. So I'm 61, so that's back in the early 60s. We were what they call now free-range kids. Like they just sent you out on your bike and they said, come home when the street lights go on. And if you think about it, when we have a class and we're talking to kids nowadays about, we have a list of all the benefits of riding a bike. You save money, it's good for the environment. Sometimes you can save time on a commute. You don't have to pay insurance for a car, all those kind of things. 2 things are not on the list, and they always bring them up. Fun and freedom, sometimes family and friends. So if you think back to those days where you were riding a bike, it's, you get super cool memories, whether it's riding a bike with your dad, learning to ride, struggling to learn to ride, getting a new bike for Christmas. I grew up in Michigan, and when I got a new bike for Christmas, you couldn't go out and ride it, but you would ride it around the basement, So just that feeling of joy, freedom, friends, wind in your hair, whatever that memory is. When you get upset because you're driving and there's some kid that zips in front of you who's on a bike, just try to take a pause and think about how much fun you had on a bike, maybe still have on a bike. But they are a little frustrating, so we're going to spend most of the time talking about that. So do I have a little bit more time since Israel wasn't here? Or stick to 10, 15 minutes? Okay. So when I'm doing a bike, so part of what I want to do today is just share some of the things that we share when we're doing education so that you have a sense of what all these kids in Encinitas, and actually we pull from a lot of other communities. We pull from San Marcos, Chula Vista, We've had kids from Coronado, Del Mar, San Marcos. They come to the City of Encinitas classes because guess why? We have more classes than anywhere else in the county. So this city is committed to bike education 2 times a month. We have a city cycling class. It's 3 hours long. I would encourage you to come to one. If you just want to do the first hour just to hear what we're sharing, that's awesome. If you want to come and do the entire thing, that's good too. So 1 hour in the classroom, 1 hour out in the parking lot doing some skills drills, and then an hour in the community, not like a hardcore hour of riding, but basically kind of riding, pulling over, talking, show and tell. So it's a 3-hour class. It's really comprehensive. And like I said, we're doing more here than anywhere else. And what also is unique about Encinitas, and we're ahead of the curve, 3 of our school districts, it says 2, but then I realized I have to count Cardiff as well. They are requiring education to get a bike parking permit so that you can actually ride your bike to school. And it's awesome. I mean, it's carrot stick. I still think it's a carrot, it's just getting that education up front. And that's wonderful, and it's co-funded. So some of it comes from SANDAG, some of it comes from co-funding the city and the school districts, and then the city cycling classes are all because of the City of Encinitas. So thank you, and I hope that continues with our new mayor and council. So when I'm doing a class or another LCI is doing a class, we always have to talk about these need-to-knows. So I just want you to see them so that you have a sense. All these young riders, a lot of them have not gone through driver's ed. And even if you've gone through driver's ed, it's not the same driving a car as riding a bike. So we have to do kind of a mini driver's ed so that they know basic road laws and they are encouraged to follow the law. We talk a lot about being predictable. And being predictable is, a follow-on to following the law. So stop at 4-way stops, stop at traffic lights, ride where you're supposed to be riding. So if there's a bike lane, ride in the bike lane, so on and so forth. Be conspicuous. How many of you have seen an adult rider black head to toe? Yeah, we all have. How many of you have seen a teenager riding or a younger rider black head to toe? Yeah, it drives me crazy. This is my biggest pet peeve. It's like you're a ninja. No one can see you. You look like the pavement. So being conspicuous, having bright colored clothing, a bright colored bike, backpack, helmet, shoes, socks, just something so that you can be seen, because I generally say, car driver doesn't want to hit you. I don't believe you want to be hit by a car driver. So do something so that you can actually be seen. So I didn't bring any of them, but we do have these slap bands that we give out. I end up putting them on bicycles. They're intended for your ankle or your wrist, but if I have a black bicycle, there's nothing on it, I put one of those on the back rack so that there's something where they can be seen. Thinking ahead, preparing, that means your bicycle, make sure your bicycle's in good shape, make sure you're ride ready, but it also means know where you're going, know what streets you're going to be on, what your route is. Thinking ahead, if you get a flat tire, what do you do? Thinking ahead, if you have a crash, what do you do? So there's a lot more bike riding since the pandemic. That was kind of an upside of the pandemic, as we all wanted to be outside and be by ourselves, and a lot of parents bought their kids bicycles. Unfortunately, a lot of parents bought their kids' bikes online. So our bike shops are kind of hurting. We've lost El Camino Bike Shop. It's wonderful because we have all these car-free trips. However, some of those bikes weren't built properly. Some of them aren't being maintained properly. We have some kind of knucklehead behaviors that are happening, kind of with bullying and bicycles, which is just kind of disappointing to know. The other thing that's happened since the pandemic is we've had a lot of parents that have been very proactive, and they've reached out. They found the League of American Bicyclists. They found a list of LCIs, and then they have a region, so they can look up who's in Encinitas, and then they contact us for bike lessons. So I've done a ton more bike lessons since the pandemic than the rest of the time I've been in LCI, and it's not just kids, but it's older adults wanting to learn to ride or want to learn again on an e-bike. And it's small groups, and sometimes like 12 kids in a neighborhood, so that's super cool. So there's a lot of education going on. So hopefully that makes you feel a little bit better. So what I'm hoping today, give you some background information, kind of put things in context. I do want to ask very early on, what are your concerns? When you're in our community, when it comes to people biking and walking, what comes to mind first for you all? Anyone? Karen?
Well, this is Commissioner Angel, and I will just say in my experience, and I'm an avid cyclist, and I support all of the programs you've mentioned. When I see young adults, teenagers, riding without concern for the law or without helmet, which is the law, that certainly raises my, little,
Yeah.
red
Get
flag. So that's probably it right there.
Well, and the other, one thing I'll say to that, so I don't forget to, because I'm at that age where you remember, forget, remember. I've tried to figure out what resonates with teenagers, what resonates with teenager boys. And so I'm trying out different things. But what I've been doing recently is talking about a tribe. So as bike riders, we're part of a tribe. And what I do affects you, and what you do affects me. So if you guys are popping wheelies on public roadways, which is illegal, not smart, you could get hurt. You could change someone's life forever if they hit you. You're not being a good tribe member. Be a better tribe member. So hopefully, I've checked in with different people about different messages, and I tried different material just to connect and get people to pause and think about what they're doing. But that one seems to be working. Chief Gordon walked through, made me also think about our captain, so Captain Watts and our sheriffs. Several years ago, it was all about helmets, wearing a helmet, not having it on your handlebars, clipping your helmet. It was about passengers. Is your bike built for a passenger? If it is, it's just for one passenger. We were seeing 2 passengers, 3 passengers, sometimes 4 passengers. Scary behavior. That they've cracked down on that as well. Plus, we talk about it in our education. So we're seeing better behaviors around that. Now it's popping wheelies on public roadways and not obeying some of the traffic laws, mainly 4-way stops. Now, I say we have bad car behaviors as well. So we have a lot of cars that don't obey 4-way stops, but if a car hits a car, it's not as big of a deal as if a car hits a bike. Bike riders are vulnerable. We're going to get hurt. So it has more of an impact. Other things that you guys think of when you see bike riders?
This is Commissioner Ling, and I wish Commissioner Gaber were here today, because last year we actually wrote a letter of encouragement regarding this very topic to another commission, Public Health and Safety, because they were really, really focused on bike safety. And it was a different take on things, because there are a lot of seniors who do not ride bikes, who are driving around in cars. And Commissioner Gaber's point was there needs to be a class about bike safety and defensive driving for seniors, because we're used to bicycles going 5 miles an hour, not 20. We're used to them being in a lane, not doing knucklehead behavior, and reactions are slow. Our field of vision is somewhat restricted. So and I met you yesterday at Village Encinitas meeting, so I think, is there a class for, and it's really targeted for drivers, for senior drivers, about safety with bikes and e-bikes?
Yeah, so thank you for the question. So the San Diego County Bike Coalition does have a class about driving safely around bikes and peds. However, they really don't promote it much, and they don't get many requests for it. So I pretty much said to my contact there, Kevin, I want to do more of these classes. Is that okay? And he's like, yeah, just go for it. And I have this long list, but so far I've done it at the Village. I did it at the Solana Beach Senior Center. I'm here today. I'll talk to any groups, whether it's service organizations, UPS drivers, FedEx, all sorts, because I think the biggest message is we all just need to slow our roll. And I said this last night during oral communications at the traffic, mobility and traffic safety. Slow our roll and look out for each other. But I do realize that seniors, I talk to this when I try to talk to teenagers about kindness, about being a kind bike rider, because the last thing a senior wants to do is hit a bike rider. And maybe your neck doesn't turn quite like it used to, your vision's not as good, you may be distracted, whatever the circumstances are. But if someone's not being predictable, not following the rules, all of a sudden they may be right in front of you and you have to react. And like you said, your reaction time might not be what it used to be. So my continuous message to everybody, drivers and bike riders, is we need to slow our roll, be more aware, and be looking out for each other to create, safer streets for everyone. So with that, very happy. Yeah.
Commissioner Copeland, I have one more question.
Yeah.
I don't know how the law works. I was going down Santa Fe, and there was a bicycle in the bicycle lane going about 30 miles an hour with a green light. I was getting ready to turn right with the appropriate signal. My question is, who has the right-of-way? If I'm going this way and they went straight through, had I not looked behind me, there would have been no way. Or had I stopped, had there been a car behind me, the car would have hit me. What's the law on that?
All right, so a couple things. Let me just finish one more thought. So in our city, because of a new law in the state, we're starting to bring our speed limits down, which is very good. It's good for cars, it's good for pedestrians, it's good for bike riders. So I hope that we'll see more and more of this. I do believe our new mayor sees it as a priority to slow speed limits and to do enforcement. So to your point, so if there's a bike lane, you're to ride in the bike lane. But not all our roadways have bike lanes. Some of our lanes are very narrow, so we instruct students of every age, when you're bike riding, if it's a narrow lane, not enough room for a car and a bike to be side by side, take the lane, ride in the middle of the lane. You're more visible, more predictable, it's a safer place to be, you have a right to the road. However, say you're driving along like you were, and there's a bike in the bike lane, you're coming up to an intersection. If you're turning right, you're to yield to that bike rider who's going straight. However, that's a dicey situation. If you look at this crash data, when it's a car and a bike, there are a lot of what we call right hooks and left crosses that happen, where a car driver thinks they have enough time to turn right in front of a bike rider, or they don't see the bike rider, or maybe, hopefully not very often, they kind of don't care about the bike rider and they're just going to do what they're going to do. Or, usually it's they mistime it, and with e-bikes, it makes it harder because you don't know their speed. Now, if they're going 30 miles an hour, most bikes cut off assistant at 20 miles an hour, so they may not be on an e-bike. They may not be on a bike at all. They may be on an illegal electric motorcycle. They may be on a legal electric motorcycle, but then they shouldn't be in the bike lane. That's for bikes. So in your instance, where were you driving?
I was on Santa
Santa
Fe,
Fe.
turning right on Lake. I had a green light.
Yeah.
And I saw the bicyclist behind me because I do that now.
Yeah,
And the
Right.
bicyclist went straight through the light.
yeah.
Had I either not seen them and turned, or had I stopped and had a car behind me, I would have been hit. My
Yeah,
question
some-
is, who has the right of way?
Well, so it's a tough one. I mean, you're turning right, he's going straight. So that's why I thought bicyclists would have the right of way. But I mean, what I would do as a bike rider is if you're going straight through that area, you actually shift to the left to avoid a right hook. So a lot of what we talk about with the kids is where you position yourself in the roadway to avoid left cross, right hook maneuvers, getting cut off by cars, not being seen. So a lot of parents have told their kids, "Oh, I'm going way over. I'm going way, way over." Do I need to stop? Yeah, all right. So a lot of parents have told their kids, go all the way over to the right, be as far to the right as you possibly can. That's one of the things that they're very surprised about during the class, is that we're saying, no, you really don't want to do that because you're not seen, you're not predictable, you have a right to the road. Don't ride all over there. That's where all the debris is. No one's going to see you. So that, I would say, that person should have shifted either in front of you or behind you to avoid that right hook. But a lot of riders don't think about that. So it's tough.
Thank you.
So to wrap it up, I mean, will they have access to these slides? Okay, good. Because there's a lot of good information in here. The biggest thing is that we are doing our best to provide education, to try to influence behaviors, but kids will be kids. And there's a lot of really good youth bike riders out there, and then there's some knuckleheads. There are a lot of good adult riders out there, and I would actually say there's probably more knuckleheads with the adults, especially those Saturday riders along the coast in those big groups. So I'm going to try to do more and more of this kind of education so that drivers are understanding what's going on, to try to put it in context and give some good advice. On my parting note, one of the best things you can do to avoid a situation that you were talking about, Councilman or Commissioner Karen, is when there's a dashed area and the bike lane is now a transition point, use that dashed area to make your transition so that you're, like in this diagram, you're actually pulling into the bike lane to make that right turn, and hopefully that bike rider either slows down or shifts to the left to get out of that pocket. So we talk a lot about that. Sorry I couldn't go through more information. Time flies when you're talking about bike safety. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, Christine.
Thank you, Christine. Just want to say real quick, this is Commissioner Angel. I took the over 55 bicycle safety course with Christine, and it was invaluable. I learned a lot, and I highly recommend it for anyone who is a cyclist and wants to gain further information, insight, and experience on the roadways.
Thank you, Commissioner Mona. And I think I just want to mention, I've been talking to Nick about wanting to do another one that's all adults, and if we can get 55 and plus, because they don't want to go into a class with a bunch of teenagers. So he's been putting it off because of school and because of the demand that we have for the younger kids. But I think this summer we'll be doing another class that's specifically for adults. When this class was created, it was for adults, and then it morphed into youth bike riders. Thanks for the comment.
And this is Commissioner Hamwood. I just wanted to make a quick comment, too. I wanted to thank you for the presentation. And when you were giving the presentation at the village and High Country Villas, the time period was longer. And there really is a lot to cover. I mean, you know, way more than we could do in just a few minutes like this. So having classes available would be great. Thanks, Christine.
This is Commissioner Stern. What I would like to say is, look, I used to ride bicycles, but I can't ride bikes anymore. I can't even drive a car. However, I use a scooter, and you had mentioned, visibility, black on black. And literally on my scooter, because of course they don't come with lights, I put a light on the front of it and, a thing on the back of it. So literally I barely go past my street to go to the mailbox, but so people can see me. So I think it's really important that people have lights on bicycles.
Yeah, and I would also, Commissioner Eli, recommend putting a flag on your scooter. So I had a program that I thought was going to happen with SDA, but it kind of fizzled out with this vision of having flags, these funky, cool, brightly colored flags on all the elementary school bikes. I thought it was going to happen, but you can buy or make a flag for your bike, and I think that's another way to bring attention to your scooter, especially in our neighborhood. So.
Sure. I have to just finish this now because my stepfather, God rest his soul, he had a scooter too, and he had a big American flag on it. He was a veteran. So thank you very much for your...
All right, thank you.
Thanks again, Christine. Let's move on. We are at agenda item 5, oral communications and possible direction to staff. Do we have any speakers today?
There are no speakers for oral communications today. However, we do have one speaker, Christine Schindler, who would like to speak to agenda items 8A and 8B, so I will introduce her when we get to that agenda item.
Okay. Okay. Agenda item 6, are there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, there is a change to agenda item 4A as the presenter canceled
Okay.
as he was out sick. So there is only one presenter today for 4B.
Thank you. Agenda item 7, approval of the minutes. Do I hear a motion to approve the March 18th, 2025 regular meeting minutes?
This is Commissioner
Commissioner
Angel,
Stern says
and I
yes.
make a motion that we approve the minutes from March 18th.
Okay. Commissioner Angel makes the motion to approve. Did I hear Commissioner Stern? Would you like to
Yes,
second?
I approve too.
Would you like to second
I'll
that
second.
motion? Okay.
Sure.
Commissioner Stern seconds the motion. Let's go ahead and vote.
Well, obviously I vote yes, just so you guys know.
Let the record show the motion to approve the minutes passes with all commissioners voting yes.
Okay, that brings us to agenda item 8, action items. Agenda item 8A, Senior Citizen Commission Annual Work Plan. Did you want the
yes.
speaker to go before?
I believe so, yes. So for agenda item 8A, we have Christine Schindler, who's here representing herself or IG Games. And as a reminder, you have 3 minutes to address the commission.
All right, very good. So Christine Schindler, East Encinitas. I wanted to mention Cyclovia Encinitas. I'm sure you guys know about this. So I encourage you to join in. It's a wonderful event, and you don't have to be on a bicycle. You just can't be in a car. So yesterday at Village Encinitas, beautiful Commissioner Jesse has created this opportunity in our community. I had probably my most favorite county employee for HHSA AIS, Pam Plimpton, and she spoke with us about intergenerational opportunities, which are bringing say third, fourth graders together with seniors. Recently in San Marcos, we had IG Games, so it's kind of like a mini Olympics. They pair you as a senior with 1 or 2, sometimes 3 kids, and you do relatively easy activities, throwing a frisbee, kicking a soccer ball, playing cornhole, something like that. It's fantastic. I've done it now 4 times. Super meaningful, really, in 2 hours' time, you make a lot of connections. I want to bring IG Games to Encinitas. I don't know if you have something on your work plan already that has to do with intergenerational programming.
We do.
So there's a lot of different ways. Pam also talked about a county program they've been pushing forward for intergenerational gardening. And I think we have a good opportunity there with our community garden. And I just want to show support for anything that's being done intergenerationally. And then specifically myself, I want to make sure that we do IG games because I'm a reluctant driver and I don't want to go all the way to San Marcos. And I think a lot of my neighbors and friends would enjoy it as well. So yeah, that's my plug. Also, I just want to appreciate you as commissioners and staff supporting this commission. And I think you should all get a raise.
Thank you, Christine. Okay, that brings us to, let's go back to agenda item 8A. Last month, we kind of wrapped things up a little bit because the meetings were running long. So I'd like to pick up where we left off. We do have a new draft of the work plan for this fiscal year, and I'd like to go line by line through that. If you have questions or changes that you feel you would like to suggest, this is a time to do that. After each line item, we will also discuss who wants to be on the ad hoc. So I'll start with work plan item 1, and I think the first two are pretty easy. Right, one is attend city-hosted events, programs, city partner events, serving as city ambassadors or volunteers. Does anybody want to make any changes to that? And all of us are involved in this. Work plan item 2, identify guest speakers for monthly meetings to provide education regarding topics related to the work plan goals and adults 50 plus, and find platforms to disseminate the information to adults 50 plus. Any changes or comments? And this is also, all members are involved. Okay, so we'll keep that. Also be aware of the outcomes on the right side, if there are things you want to add to this for our new fiscal year. Okay, now we get to work plan item 3, continue partnership with the Encinitas Rotary Club and explore other Encinitas Service Club collaborations to recognize or promote the Senior Citizen Service Award. Any changes? There is a typo, I think. It says 60 plus in the outcomes, and should it be 50? Was there a guideline specifically for the awards that makes it 60 plus?
This is Commissioner Angel. In my understanding was that it was 50 plus. I don't recall the exact verbiage at this time, so perhaps we might go back and take a closer look at the city documentation.
I think it's just a typo in the outcomes. It says 60 plus. But we can.
Although, actually, this is Commissioner Angel again. For the Senior Service Award, my understanding is that it is 60 plus.
Okay.
So I want to
Okay,
clarify.
so that is correct then.
This is Manager Goodsall. I will pull it up on the internet and look, and I will get back to you.
Okay,
So momentarily.
all right. Okay, any other comments or changes? Who would like to participate in the ad hoc? So Commissioner Angel raised her hand.
This is Commissioner Angel, and I'd like to go for the 4th year in a row on this particular work plan item.
Okay, and keep in mind that Commissioner Gaber and Commissioner Martin are not here, so we'll give them a little bit of room to pick up some of these other work plan items as they come back. Anyone else for now? No? Okay, let's move on to work plan item 4. Create new and sustain ongoing intergenerational programs in collaboration with the Encinitas Youth Commission.
This is Manager Goodsall. Can we go back to number 3?
Yes.
Okay, so for clarification, eligibility does require a senior citizen to be at least 60 years of age.
Okay, so
that
60 plus is correct. Okay, thank you. Okay, work plan item 4, intergenerational programming. This is most of the intergenerational activities that we've done have been a collaboration with the Youth Commission, which I think has been very, very productive. Are there any comments or questions?
Commissioner Koblenz, two. First of all, I would like to entertain the possibility that the intergenerational program be exactly as Christine said. If we can expand it a little bit more and start to include the bikes and the AG, I think it would be very powerful. That's a suggestion that I think might broaden that.
So
That's all I have.
I was at the Village Encinitas meeting yesterday with Pam Plimpton, and I picked up some new phrases and buzzwords while I was there. And I agree with you. I would like to add on the outcomes side, my suggestion is I add the phrase with emphasis on generativity and community building. And I had to look up generativity, so I'll let you guys do that. But it's an appropriate phrase.
So what does that include?
It's actually pretty broad, but rather than just create an activity that says, here's a senior, here's a youth person, we emphasize them working and playing together, and we also emphasize that we are helping to build community by doing this.
Okay, so it's broad.
It's very broad.
Yeah. Oh, that's, I think, the best way. Yeah,
Okay.
Thank you.
Without itemizing a list. Any questions or concerns about that? Is that acceptable to the managers?
I believe that's acceptable.
Okay, so we'll give that a shot. Who would like to participate in the ad hoc for this work plan?
I think I would like to do it. This is Commissioner Hanwett.
Okay, and I see.
Commissioner Angel, I also
and-
would like to be on this work plan.
And Commissioner Ling. It's one of my favorite topics, so we have that staffed. Okay, that brings us to work plan item 5. Support staff in promotion, marketing, and outreach for programs for adults 50 plus, including the Encinitas Age-Friendly Initiative. So this was intended as basically a general work plan item for marketing, outreach, and promotion. Are there questions about this one? Any changes that we want to make at this point?
I'd like to participate.
Okay, that was my next question. Who would like to be in the ad hoc for this one?
This is Commissioner Angel. I actually have a question to clarify.
Yes.
When we met last month, we talked about this, and I just wanted to clarify whether this is incorporating the Encinitas project, or is that a separate work item, a work plan item?
We are still waiting for the memorandum of understanding to be filed with the city. So we're not going to include Encinitas project this time.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, let's get back to who wants to be in the ad hoc. Commissioner Koblenz? Anyone else at this point? Okay, let's move on. Work plan item 6, work in cooperation with the staff and SDSU consultants to support the City of Encinitas Age-Friendly Initiative. Any questions or comments about this?
I have a question, Commissioner Koblenz. I love the idea, and I think it's magnificent. My question is, for me, how do I know what I'm supporting? Through the I mean, we don't have an outline yet.
Right.
Jessica, can you help me?
Keep in mind that the age-friendly initiative is not something that is predefined. Here's what we're going to do. The only part of this is, the first part of this is getting community feedback, right? Identifying what things are important to members of the adults 50-plus community, and then from there, being able to formulate a response and an action plan.
Thank you. I would like to be on that one too, if possible.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. And Commissioner Hanwett and Commissioner Ling would like to be involved in this as well? Okay, that brings us to work plan item 7, explore grant funding opportunities based on community needs and survey results. So this has been sort of our catch-all for If something in our jurisdiction requires grant funding, we will figure out a way to find it. Any comments or questions, changes? Who would like to be in this? Ad hoc. Is there a limit? Right. Okay, so we have Commissioner Hanwitt and Commissioner Angel. Thank you. All right, work plan item 8. Identify appropriate venues and community partners to host age-friendly initiative workshops. So this is part of what we were talking about just a moment ago, is the way that we find out what it is that the community is interested in, how we want to prioritize actions as part of the age-friendly initiative, is to go out, create listening groups, community feedback workshops, that kind of thing. And this particular work plan item is to identify venues where we can do this and also find community partners to help us with this. Any questions or comments? Who wants to be on it? Okay.
Commissioner Koblenz also.
Okay.
It has my name all over it.
Yes, it does. And Commissioner Hanwitt. Anyone else? Put me down for this one, too. Okay. Work plan item 9. Research best practices as it relates to adults 50-plus issues and identify senior resource gaps. Send letters of support to city council members and commissions and follow up as needed. So we talked about this last time, and this is something all members of the commission should be involved in. I think I wanted to add to the outcomes because we're living in challenging times right now, and I want to make sure that we don't miss anything here. So this is I wanted to add, in addition to what's already in the outcomes, I wanted to add issues affecting adults, the adult 50-plus community, sort of as a general outcome. So it doesn't. My take on this is it should not have to be restricted to the other ad hocs, but as we see concerns about any issues that affect the adults 50-plus community, this is a work plan item that we can address that.
This
Okay.
is, Commissioner Hanwin, I'm just floating this and see what you think. I'm just wondering where, in the outcomes where it says follow up as needed, if we should just say follow up. Because we have sent letters and then not received follow up. So maybe if we have it on our work plan that we're going to make sure that we get follow up, we can get a response.
Sure. Everybody agree with that? Okay.
I just have additional comment. I think we should write a letter right now for the adult banks workshops to our city council so that we have more here like Christine talked about.
Okay. We'll take that up after we approve our work plan. Okay, who would like to be, this is everybody, so we're all in this one. So Manager Goodsell, I was going to suggest that when we publish the final draft of this, that we move item 9 to under work plan item 2. So all 3 of the ones that require all members' participation be together. Okay, so here's the mystery one. We had one last year with the bylaws, and we didn't know what it was until we were told how to do it. This is our new one for this year. Work plan item 10, receive explicit direction from City Council on the city's general plan, including the climate action plan. And this was where we were expecting to get some direction on what each commission should be doing to find its calling or relationship within the general plan. How we do that, we don't know yet. And so we're going to ask for some direction from City Council. So I don't think, this probably doesn't make sense for us to fill in the ad hoc members at this point.
This is Manager Goodsell. You're welcome to do that now at this point if you'd like to, or you can wait.
Okay, it looks,
Commissioner Coleman, I think it might be prudent that we get a little bit more information for the direction and we hope to travel.
okay. Go ahead.
Commissioner Angel here. I also agree that it's prudent to wait. In addition to what was just said, we don't have the majority of commissioners here, and I think it would be beneficial to have those other commissioners in attendance so that we can have that discussion and then go forward with the ad hoc.
This is Manager Goodsell. That makes sense, and we can go ahead and submit this to the City Council with the TBD.
Okay, let's do that. Any other comments or questions before we say, let's hand this off to Manager Goodsell?
Just a comment. I've been spending a little bit of time with the Health and Safety Commission. Not exactly sure how to make this happen, but I think it's important that they realize the senior population in some of the decisions that they're making. I know they still have a work plan that has not been, I don't think, submitted, right? And I do go to them and I remind them that we are seniors and we have names. It's basically name it and claim us. I just like to make sure that, especially in that commission, it's health and safety. And I think it's very prudent to us somehow to either A, show up more, or B, find another way similar to the intergenerational. And I don't know if it can be a liaison. I know we're all busy, so we can't go to the meetings, but maybe we can watch them and then have input. Maybe that might be part of something. I just know I've been to 4 of those meetings now, and we're doing with the evacuation and the city and the fire department and the sheriff's. They're doing such a great job. And I don't know if anybody saw the report or the GAP report, but 42% of the people that answered that survey were adults, and they were the ones that had the questions. So I think it might be something that we can massage or maybe just think about before we finalize. Maybe it might fit in one of these others.
Okay. So my take on that is the sooner we approve our work plan, the sooner we can get started on that kind of thing. We will have a chance when next month, when the other commissioners are in attendance, to fill some of the vacancies in the ad hocs. But I think we're at a point now where I would like to see if there is a motion to approve the 2025-2026 work plan for the Senior Citizen Commission.
Commissioner Copeland, I'm sorry. I like all those other things that we've done. So how would what I just mentioned fit into that?
It would fit into, by my definition, it would fit into the research best practices and send letters of support to City Council and commissions.
I can live with that. Thank you.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
This is Commissioner Hanwood. I would like to make a motion that we approve the work plan for 2025-26.
This is Commissioner Angel. I'll second that motion.
Commissioner Hanwood makes the motion. Commissioner Angel seconds. I think we get to vote.
Commissioner Stern approves.
Let the record show that the motion passes with all commissioners voting yes.
Okay, now we move on to agenda item 8B, Senior Citizen Service Award recommendations.
This is Commissioner Angel, and I do have a prepared statement that I will read regarding the Senior Service Award. This year's Senior Citizen Service Award program received nominations for 15 individuals, with a few people receiving more than one nomination. In these cases, we took all their nominations into consideration to give one overall score. The ad hoc committee members reviewed all nominations, used an unbiased rating scale, and have made a selection. There was one individual who clearly stood out, leading this ad hoc to conclude that this year's recommendation for the Senior Service Award is for Jesse Hanwood. The documentation and depth and breadth of Jesse's volunteer service are amazing, as evidenced by the impact on our community. I also want to mention that Jesse meets all the eligibility requirements. The city of Encinitas does not prohibit sitting commissioners from being nominated for this award by citizens other than members of this Senior Citizen Commission, and the city supports the committee's recommendation. At this time, I would like to put the recommendation to a vote by the full commission.
Thank you, Commissioner Angel. Do we have any comments or questions about?
My only comment is my vote is going to be no, and this is Commissioner's turn.
Sorry, Commissioner Stern, could you repeat again?
Yeah, sorry. My only thing is my vote will be no. That's my only comment.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Koblenz, one comment. Well-deserved, and congratulations.
This is Commissioner Angel. I think we are still waiting for an official motion to be made.
So, do I have a motion to approve to approve the recommended action to select Jesse Hanwitt for the Senior Citizen Service Award for this year?
Well, as the chair of the ad hoc committee for the Senior Service Award, I would like to make the motion that this commission receive and acknowledge and accept that Jesse Hanwick has in fact been nominated for the Senior Service Award as a recipient.
Commissioner Angel makes the motion. Do I have a second?
Commissioner Koblenz seconds that nomination with all the words that have been said and more.
Commissioner Koblenz seconds the motion. Let's vote. Do you feel like you want to vote?
Let the record show that the motion passes with 4 commissioners voting yes and 1 commissioner voting no.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Commissioner Hanwitt. That brings us to agenda item 9, informational items. Manager Goodfellow, can you provide us with the Senior Center Operations Report?
Well, congratulations to Jesse Hanwitt. That's fantastic. And thank you, Chair Lang. All right, so 525 senior meals and 183 one-way rides were provided in March. There were 572 non-nutrition participants registered for programs in March at the Community and Senior Center. Mark your calendars for the upcoming senior events and activities during the lunch program, including a birthday celebration on May 2nd, a Cinco de Mayo celebration on May 5th, televised senior commission educational presentation on May 6th, bingo and stretch on the 8th, and What's the Buzz education on center happenings on the 12th, and finally watercolor flower painting for the Creative Corner on May 29th. For Older Americans Month, we are providing a carnival celebration at the lunch program on Wednesday, May 14th. Participants will enjoy games and prizes with nostalgic treats and plenty of fun while honoring the vibrant spirit of our senior citizens. The Senior Center will also be hosting a Mingle and Discover on Tuesday, May 20th at 1 p.m. Relax into a guided meditation, practice gentle chair yoga, and participate in creative bracelet making. In addition, a free virtual reality experience to Bali is offered to the first 20 registrants, compliments of the San Diego Senior Community Foundation. And that concludes my operations report.
This is Commissioner Angel. Would you repeat the date of that last event, please?
Yes, that will be Tuesday, May 20th at 1 p.m.
Thank you, Manager Goodsell. Manager Hamer, can you provide us with department updates?
Yes, the city hosted the Arbor Day event last Saturday, April 5th, Cardiff Sports Park with a significant success, fostering community engagement and environmental awareness. Approximately 400 participants actively contributed by tree planting and different initiatives and educational activities focused on the importance of trees and environmental stewardship. This formed community commitment to our local environment. The Adventure Lab that was organized with the Youth Commission at Art Night was also a success with impressive engagement. There were 137 active locations that were successfully completed. 25 completed the full Adventure Lab, but there were 5 locations throughout, so 137 is good. That was a intergenerational sort of activity. The Parks and Rec Commission were pretty actively involved in helping with that, but as they move forward with different activities, I can, if interested, we could include the Senior Commission to make that intergenerational experience happen. The next Adventure Lab will probably be Cyclovia. So our upcoming events, of course, are this Saturday, the Spring Egg Hunt, the 19th at Encinitas Community Park. It's 10 a.m. to noon. You're welcome to join us and either help host the table or help with the egg hunts. We also have on May 3rd our Movie in the Park at Glen Park featuring Moana 2. That starts at 6:30 p.m., and that's another opportunity to either help us host our city table or maybe help with crafts or different activities. And of course, Cyclovia, which was already showcased, that is Sunday, May 18th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And at Cyclovia, the Youth Commission is going to be working to help with the bike valet program, and they're also going to have a table about bike safety. So if that's an initiative that the Senior Commission would like to work collaboratively with, then that might be a nice fit also for another intergenerational. And perhaps you give the view of the drivers versus the riders. So that, mark your calendar, May 18th. Our summer guide is under production. It will be completed and registration will open for summer on Monday, May 12th. And we hope that you all get that guide and see a lot of opportunities for everyone of all ages in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Manager Hamer. That brings us to agenda item 10. Commission member-initiated agenda items. Are there any commission member-initiated agenda items today?
There are none.
Agenda item 11, future agenda items added by commission members. Commissioners, do you have any agenda items you would like to add for next time? No? Okay, that brings us to agenda item 12, commission reports. This is a roundtable for all the commissioners. I'd like to ask at this time if you have any announcements or reports related to adults 50 plus. And I'll start from the far end of the dais with Commissioner Koblenz and work our way towards me. And I haven't forgotten you, Commissioner Stern, so I'll remember to ask you at the appropriate time.
Yes, that's okay, but I do have something, so I'll wait.
Okay.
First of all, I'd really like to extend my gratitude to the ad hoc committee to the senior awards. I think it's probably one of the most valuable things that you've chosen to do in our ad hoc so that we can actually highlight our seniors that have so much to give. So thank you. Manager Goodsell, I'm sorry, I have a flyer that says the 24th. Okay, then I'd like to tell you about the Mingle and Magic on the 24th. I would also like to encourage you, if you haven't been to the Senior Center recently and have not been to the Oakcrest Cafe, please give yourself a treat. Stop by, look at all the things, look what's there, and visit the Oakcrest Cafe. I'm do a little plug. I have a wonderful person sitting right there, Jerry, who's taking a look, who is part of the Oakcrest Cafe, and it's grown, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful place. So again, it's fun. I like it. I'd like to invite you all to the Mayor Prayer Breakfast, May 1st, very early in the morning, 7:30. And April is volunteer month, so cheers for volunteers. And you can nominate any volunteer if you live in District 38. This will be out somewhere. I don't know, somehow this has gotten, I don't know. Anyway, if you're interested, this is another opportunity for any volunteer. And let's be clear, we got a lot of volunteers, and this is where we get a chance, because as we see those of us being acknowledged, I think it encourages more of us to just participate. That's all I have.
Commissioner Angel?
This is Commissioner Angel. I'd like to start by, again, congratulating Commissioner Hanwood and say it's truly been my honor to be a participant in this ad hoc. So I'm really excited about that. The second thing I'd like to mention, and I've brought it up with city staff before, and while it might be a moot point, I feel compelled to say something on a personal note. This has to do with the Oak Crest Cafe and the menu. While the menu is dictated by county, and my understanding is it's in collaboration with the senior center in Carlsbad, I would love to see protein sources for seniors who may not choose to eat chicken, beef, or pork. And I don't consider a plate full of vegetables as a nutritious, rounded, nutrition-filled lunch. So I would love to eat at the Oak Crest Cafe. However, at my observation, each month of the calendar, I tend to look, and there might be one meal that would meet my nutritional guidelines and provide the nutrition and protein source that I would love to see. So on a personal note, I'm waiting to see whether it's in collaboration with the city of Carlsbad or not, the city of Encinitas provides senior citizens who choose for varying reasons not to consume meat products an alternative for protein source. Thank you.
Commissioner Hanwood?
Well, this is Commissioner Hanwett, and of course, I would first like to thank you so much for the nomination and being chosen for this honor. It's pretty overwhelming, I have to tell you. It's I wouldn't allow myself to believe it. I wore my dad's watch here today because he comes with me when I'm in a situation that's a little bit uncomfortable. They say that energy from a person remains in their jewelry, and I figured, well, he would either be supportive, or he would be supportive if I didn't win, or proud if I did. So thank you again. That was really wonderful. And I would like to second what Commissioner Angel has just talked about, because as a vegan, I can't attend those lunches either, so that's really important. I did attend the Age Well Housing Committee on April 3rd, and they had a speaker from the National Alliance on Mental Illness who discussed SB 43, which I knew nothing about, and the changes in it and the connection between mental health and the risk of homelessness in older adults. And what SB 43 did was it added a severe substance disorder as a reason someone could be placed on an involuntary hold. So that was a very interesting session. And I volunteered at the Scott Valley Park Mosaic Park Project. For me, it was an intergenerational experience because I got to work with a little girl who was probably about 3, I don't know, maybe 4. And our job was to sort tile by color. But she really only wanted to sort purple. So it was a little uneven in the amount of work that we did, but it was a lot of fun, and it was a wonderful cause. I can't wait to see the results of that. And then just a quick update of Village Encinitas. We now have over 60 members, and besides the neighbors helping neighbors aspect of the village, we're trying to get more into having opportunities for people to socialize with each other and get out of the house and On the fourth Friday of every month, we meet at Bird Rock Cafe at the Lumberyard. Well, we don't actually meet at the coffee place, but you can get coffee. We meet in the big patio for about an hour so people can just get to know each other and ask questions about the village. We have a Zoom informational meeting once a month where people who are just wanting information about the village can, if they're okay with using Zoom, they can get on that. And we just started to do a once a month walk in the park at the Encinitas Community Park, which is great for that because it's an easy walk and you can bring your dog. And again, it's a great social opportunity for people to meet each other. That's it.
Commissioner Stern, you're up.
Good. So I live in High Country Village, which is a senior community. And they keep trying to take advantage. They keep trying to take advantage of senior citizens. And by the way, they keep giving me violations, and I can beat them because physically I'm really messed up. But mentally I'm fine. But my point is, and I'm sure it's with all HOAs, but because we're on the Senior Citizen Commission, they do take advantage of senior citizens, and I think we should help with that. So that's my statement.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Stern. This is Commissioner Ling. I had the privilege of attending a Village Encinitas meeting yesterday. The guest speaker was Pam Plimpton from County of San Diego. She is the intergenerational coordinator for Live Well. And it was very inspiring. This is why I'm fired up again about intergenerational programming. I think there are some things we talked about, like intergenerational games.
Well, by the way, hold on. I agree with intergenerational games 100%.
Okay, thank you. Intergenerational games was brought up, intergenerational mentoring, which I think is interesting. It goes both ways. Seniors
Yes,
mentoring
I agree.
youth educating seniors. Intergenerational gardens keeps coming up. We'll keep pushing for something that looks like an intergenerational garden program.
Which, by the way, hold on. By the way, is there any update on that? I know I think they weren't responding.
No, so we've dropped that one from our work plan, and we've lumped everything together as intergenerational programming, and we'll look for other opportunities. So that was very, very inspiring, and I hope we can do a lot more with our intergenerational programming, especially with the collaboration with the Youth Commission, because they've been very, very
Well, hold on.
helpful.
Let me get to my original point. Do you?
I'm
This
sorry,
is Manager
we're
Goodsell,
not-
point of order. So we're doing roundtable right now. There's no discussion, and it's Chair Ling's opportunity to speak under Commissioner Roundtable.
and I think we're ready to wrap up here.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. So, with that, the April 15th, 2025 Senior Citizen Commission meeting is hereby adjourned at 3:13 p.m. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, it's just.